Hello dog, hello cat, how are you? I'm just going to turn down the bloom on this because it's a teeny weeny bit loud, and there's no one here yet anyway, so I said yet, did you hear that? Hope, experience, etc. Oh. Hello viewer, I'm not sure who you are, but if you want to say hello by typing something in the thing, I'll then know what your name is and I can say hello by name. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to guess. Sorry man. Quick word to everyone out there, the chat system is very, very strange for the system that I use because it kind of puts it all together, so I've got to keep an eye on this and make sure that I'm able to see exactly what's happening. Otherwise I can't, you know. Nice, I like that. Sorry, things I'm saying I like that out as well. Okay, are things you probably can't see, so. Nice. Bye-bye, one viewer. I don't know where you went, but... Any luck, if anyone's typed anything like hello or whatever, then I'll see it. So here we go. So hello to anybody, everybody, and maybe even nobody, who knows, eh? Anyway, I'm going to close that down, and this won't be a particularly long vlog, unless, you know, people come in and say, hi, how are you? In which case it might be a bit longer, you know, because I like saying hello to people. Anyway, I have a website, okay, so if you want to register on the website, thewickie.com, you can. The website hasn't been getting a lot of love off me. I'm going to be probably working on that next week when I get some spare time, because I've been really, really busy, to be quite honest. I know that if you're following the Twitter and the Twitch feeds, then you may be kind of thinking, well, the only notifications you get are ones about when I'm streaming. I am going to try and do some different things as well. It's just a case of, you know, getting the time to do it, really. There's a lot of stuff to do for game development, plus I've been doing a lot of other stuff as well. It's been very, very busy for me during lockdown. Anyway, as this is video blog 1, I thought it'd be nice just to kind of say hello to people. And down here in the bottom right, you can see this is the wiki. Now, the wiki has been in development now for, I would say, about 14 months. Okay, now it's going to be quite hard for me to show you a lot of what's happening inside of this. There is a lot in this. Now, it's a single open world game, is the wiki. Now, doing an indie game where it's open world is retardedly difficult. I should just point that out. Okay, and I knew that when I came into it, but I love challenges. Anyway, what you're seeing down here is the key area. Okay, by key I mean this is the key side. We have water simulations going on down here, and the boats bob in the water and all this kind of thing. Boats work as well. So, you know, if you feel the need to take one and go somewhere, you can. But more about that maybe on a different day. Now, down here we have the hoppers. This is where things are going to be stored. The hoppers at the minute are all empty. We'll be adding to the hoppers soon because I've just redesigned the key, because the key was actually very, very different to how it looks now. If I just bring down my development drive, so I think I've got my old one over here in Pineapple Chris Documents, Unreal Projects, the wiki. Let me see, it'll be under saved, and if I go into screenshots, because there's a lot of screenshots here. Right, so I should be able to find it if I just... here we are. So here's some early development stuff from the island I'm just kind of going through. I'll put it here so you can see it a bit better. But the key used to look... I mean, the village doesn't look the same either. The village used to have kind of a weird old factory on it, and that's gone now. That was removed. The old standing stones have gone and been replaced. The bothy is being replaced, but here it is. Here's the old key, right? So you can see it there with the bollards. Much simpler looking system as well there. There's the generator when it first came in. There's obviously the key with the Clyde diesel tank and the original Captain Malin model. And there, you can kind of see, I mean, it was an attempt to kind of unify it at the time, but it just wasn't really working out for me the way I wanted. There it is there. Okay, so it's a nice system, don't get me wrong, but I was happier to use the newer system, so that's what you're going to see in a second or two when it's finished, whatever it's doing here. So, yeah, anyway, the newer key system, if I just turn lit to unlit, just to get us around here a bit. Right, so you can see it's quite large, ship here, and everything goes off to the horizon over there. Okay, there's no mist now, I've turned the mist off. Now, over here on the left, we've got a lot more dressing needs to be done, but also we have another hopper here and a fuel tank, which is part of the story later on. Now, coming over here, we have an access tunnel. The access tunnel here will take us to somewhere else. I'm not telling you where because it's part of the gameplay. And then up here, we have a lot of old constructions on the island. So if I change this from unlit to lit, we have this rather nice walkway that used to be the method for accessing the other side of the island where the village is. So if I just click play from here, and there you go. So you can see we have to kind of go all the way along here and all this kind of thing. It's a lot of exploration in this game, to be quite honest. Anyway, as we go along here, you know, this used to connect us to the village. It doesn't connect us to the village anymore because they fell into the sea, naturally. But, you know, it's here, and we can explore it, and maybe it'll take you somewhere else different. Now, down here, you can see the style of the game changed massively. So what I used to have was full CG characters in 3D, and you know, being an indie, it's very, very hard to get your CG characters looking nice. You know, so I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll use a combination of 2D and 3D assets, and it's actually worked really, really well, so I'm really pleased about that. Now, up here, you can see the lighting start to change as we get up over the crest. Okay, the time does change during the day as well. Hello, viewer, by the way. Now, if I go over here into our engine room, one of the things you have to do is turn the power on. Okay, so over here you can see this is our generator, and at the minute it's all turned off. You can turn the generator on, but you do need a few things to turn the generator on, including fuel, because it has to be primed. So once that's done, we can then continue on our merry old way up here and past this mad looking fence here, which does serve a purpose, and then through this low-lying volumetric cloud until we get up here above the cloud line rather, to the actual lighthouse and the lighthouse keeper's house. Now over here as well we also have the diaphone room. This is where this giant thing, which is called a diaphone, operates from. There'll be some more work done on that. There's always work to do. And over here we see the old observatory, which is a part of the island as well, okay, because it used to be that this used to be an observatory off the west coast of Scotland, and then as they abandoned it because they didn't need to use it anymore for whatever reason, the lighthouse keepers were allowed to take over the big house that was used for that next to the lighthouse, because they used to live in the lighthouse, and that's made things a lot easier for them. Okay, so just in case you're wondering. Now then, down here next to this weird kind of abyss thing, we have the under, okay, and this leads somewhere. It doesn't at the moment because that's not turned on, and again I'm not going to tell you where that leads to. There's a lot of stuff in this that goes all sorts of places. Now, as you can see down here we have more stuff to go and visit, so let's go down here. And down here I have, hello new viewer, this is the old village from 1880, 1890, and this village here is all made from basically procedural assets that I created with its own graveyard and stuff. It's pretty dark over here at the minute. That's because the sun isn't up. Everything has vegetation and so forth, so it's all jolly nice, and you can't see it at the minute, but I've also got all the wildlife turned off because we have birds, we have deer, we have sheep. I was going to introduce foxes, but I think the island's a little bit too small. However, deer and sheep do fit in with the kind of thing that I'm trying to do here, so that works okay. Now, as we continue walking along down here, a lot of stuff down here isn't quite finished because this is a bit further on in the game, but here is an old building which we can go into and through, and as we do, it's at the minute it's just a kind of a weird looking maze thing, so it's not finished by a long shot, but it's getting there. And then as we go up, there's a library going to be there, and then we have here the small chapel, and the small chapel of course heads out onto the top up here as well. Now down here, where things are really, really too bright in my opinion, I'll sort that out later, but if I come over here we should find the mine workings, so turn that to unlit, and we can access the mine workings from everywhere else. As you see, there's currently a hole in my model which I've deliberately placed there, and I'm not sure what this is or why this is here, but I'm sure it's for a good reason, so it's deleted. But yeah, down here is where the mine workings basically start, so I've opened it so that I can see it properly, and we get in through here, and this is where things, you know, we've got some crazy stuff down here anyway. Now, on the rear side of the island, over here, there's a few other things that are going to be here that you can't see, obviously, and that's for a very, very good reason. So, we'll be coming to those, but you won't get to see those in your play of the game until you're well past the first half, okay? Because, I mean, the island's about 4 kilometers square, but it exists on multiple levels with tunnels and things going through it. Anyway, change this back from unlit to lit, and let's look over here past the fence. So over there on the left you can see we have a temporary block, okay? Now don't be fooled, this is temporary, okay? This will in fact be replaced, and I have the other file somewhere. I've been meaning to do it for a while, so I'll probably do that tomorrow. And then down here, as As we continue on our journey, this leads us down to various crypts and things. These are all normally locked off, but we can get down here at the moment. So the crypts also feature heavily in this. Now the idea is that with this being a West Hebridean island, okay, I've been trying to pay attention to what the various histories are. So we have standing stones, we have like a small encroachment of Romans, we have some cult activity, you know, we have some paganism, we have all the kinds of things that really are going to lead to a fun little story. Now over here we have the standing stones. The standing stones originally were way more uniform. You probably saw the picture earlier, and the standing stones were very much kind of a Stonehenge-y kind of thing, which was cool but not really realistic. A, because there's nowhere on our island that should have been mined from really, and B, because, you know, getting up here, so it made more sense having hewn rock, and we can see there's plenty of hewn rock over here. So the standing stones instead came to be like this, although I did keep this, which I call Aslan's How as a reference to C.S. Lewis, but it's just a kind of a little temple thing, okay, a little altar thing. Now as we continue down here, again I've got a few holes that I'm going to have to fix up eventually, and I'm sure I will. But if we go back up through here and I go into my main lighthouse keeper's house, there's no doors on because I've got them turned on at the off at the moment. You can see it's quite a nice broad space. It's actually not as large as it looks. It's simply because we have to kind of exaggerate sizes a lot when we're doing things like this. I'll just get rid of that light as well. There we go. Oh dear. Poor Peter trying to get through Ghostbusters. The new Ghostbusters is a tragic film. Right, but anyway, as you can see, you know, there's plenty of depth and space in here. There's a lot of stuff to be doing. Now, when we come out here, the ladder isn't finished yet, but basically there'll be a narrow staircase leading up into here. And then we have the ability to... Crazy man. You know, we have the ability to work with our light in our lighthouse, throwing out its beautiful light everywhere. So that's going to look really, really nice as well. Over here, where at the minute you can see there's a goodly pile of nothing really, this is where the old lighthouse keeper's house is going to be, which is going to be more or less a ruin. I was going to have it basically swap places with these, but I really like this embankment thing that I've built it on here. Now if you're wondering where I got a lot of these assets from, okay, yes, I made some. The rest of them I got from the Seaside Buildings assets that were released on the marketplace not that long ago. Okay, so just a little heads up if you're looking for stuff. Right, now down here again, when I go into my outbuildings for the engine room, you can see that we have this room here. Hasn't got its declared use yet, and some more empty hoppers. So let's go down here now and kind of talk about what's in this that needs to be done. So you can see that things are starting to get dressed down here. Okay, it takes time. It takes a lot of time. Now I'm going to have to obviously finish dressing this out and loading up these hoppers, and the idea is over the course of the game these individual hoppers will change and load up and unload with different things depending on what's going on. Now in addition, if I come over here to our engine room, there'll be, you know, changes over there as well. There's going to be a few things down here. I'm not going to tell you what's happening, but there will be additional stuff. And then over here, where our lighthouse is, obviously this needs to be fully furnished out. I've got all the furniture, I just haven't had a chance to do it yet, which is unfortunate, but I will be getting to it shortly. So it's just one of those blooming things, unfortunately. No, let me see. Don't think I've got any, yeah, it's cool, okay. Just turn that off. Yeah, right, so that's a kind of a walk around of what's been happening so far. Now, what I'm doing at the minute is I'm building up the journaling system, because basically I've got to do everything as kind of methodically as I can. Now, I've got the game working to a certain degree where I can finish tasks and, you know, we can achieve what's technically set as the goals and things, but a lot of what I'm doing has to be down to making things usable. Operability, it's called, and it's important for me. Hello third viewer, hope you're doing well. If you say hello, I'll shout hello to you. Anyway, what I'm going to what was I saying? Yeah, operability. So I have an objective system built into this, but what I'm doing is I'm building a journal system, And up here you can see that I've been working on the journal system. So I've got my objectives pages up here, I've got my standard pages left and right here, and then I've got my radio collection, because set in 1930 we don't actually have what's it called again? We're not going to be using kind of record players and gramophones and things like that, or cassette to cassette systems. What I'm going to be using instead is radios, which are going to be giving you additional information and stuff. And of course, if you listen to a radio broadcast, then you will be able to listen to it again anytime you want, which is kind of handy, because some of them are going to be important, but some of them will also be kind of fun. So just to show you, if I come to my assets and go to Lighthouse, because that's where I keep specifics, and I'm looking for my radio. Do I have a radio? Yes, it's probably an assets radio. Here we are. And you can see there it is there. It's made from dark wood, and it's actually modelled on a radio that I saw yesterday, so I just modelled it as soon as I'd seen it, really. Now if I just add an extra light to this for a moment, so a little point light just so you can see there. So now our radio is lit, and what will happen is when you come over here, it'll either turn on automatically. Hello viewer and viewer, I hope you're doing well. If you are to say hello, I will say hello to you, because that's the only way I know what your name is, to be honest. It's not a sneaky thing, I'm not gathering your information. So anyway, you go up to the radio and turn it on, and yes, this is what radios look like in 1925. This is an old valve radio. We've got a cloth patch here where the sound comes out of. We've got these 3 buttons that you twist and hope to God you're going to pick something up with, and the big thing that you twist to get the signal or tune it. I don't know if they were crystal radios or not, but anyway, it's using a full PBR texture as well that I built up myself, and overall I'm quite pleased with it. It was quite hard to get the Bakelite look. So what I'll do with this is, and I'll just get rid of that light that I put there because I don't need it, but this will be in any places where people need to hear information. So for example, if I come over here to my workshop over here, you see, what I could do is I can have it turn on when this turns on. So basically when my what do you call it, my radio system over here turns on, not radio, my generator system turns on, I can also have my radio turn on and play like some sort of a broadcast or something that's happening, or some music or whatever. Be very handy. There'll be a few radios inside here, and they'll have different text, more or less different textures, slight subtle variances, just so they look slightly different. But I felt it was kind of important for us to have a radio in here. Now, what else should I be talking about? Well, that's what I'm doing today. Now, let me have a look at my Trello board, because I do keep Trello going, and it's very, very useful, obviously, to make sure I'm doing what I need to. So, that's done. Areas that need to be worked on. Let's have a look. So, work on the garden wall. This will not happen. Engine room switches are done. Create a route to the village. Yep. Rebuild the top of the lighthouse. Create an in-game. Create, but not in-game, is the block. Expand the crypt. That needs to be done, so I'll put that to work on this. We've got the, well, small port for the village is something that needs to be worked on, so I'll put there. Connor's Rock will be expanded upon, but I'll come to that soon. The new standing stones are created and in-game. For the garden, I'm going to reject that for the minute, and I'm going to reject interactive windows because I don't think we need them. It's important to go through this, so I'm going to go through this every week. Outside toilet, yeah. I'll move this nearer the top though. And the horn hut needs to be done. The inside of the lighthouse tower definitely needs to be done. And the top of the lighthouse needs some crap. The library, the temple, set just the village more. Develop the northwest side of the island. Right, we'll move that down. Expand the mine. I'm going to move up. Don't need to create a third bedroom. It's already in there. Dress the outside of the buildings is done. And I may yet build a looping boat journey. I haven't decided. So, 20 minutes of stuff. Okay, now this is the bit where I want to talk to you guys and girls, obviously, out there about, you know, what I'm doing and what you could be doing. Now, we've had a year and a bit of lockdown, And I started this technically kind of just before the lockdown, and there's been, you know, days where I've been working non-stop, and then there's been weeks where I've not been able to work because I've had other things to do. It's all the same for everybody, you know. We all have days where we're busy and days where we're not busy. So what I suggest to you is, if you're interested in doing game development yourself, you know, just go for it. There's more than enough learning material out there to do it. I was so surprised myself when I discovered that I've been doing this for 6 or 7 years, you know, actually using Unreal Engine 4 and teaching Unreal Engine 4 and stuff. Surprised the living death out of me. But there's so much inside of it for us to learn. There's so much inside of this for us to do. And, you know, the good thing is that as an independent developer, which is what I am, I can create a game like this, which is something I wouldn't have been able to do in the past. Now, admittedly, I do have 2 advantages, okay, that some people may not have. So advantage 1 is I'm a 3D artist, and I'm not a bad one. You know, I made that radio, for example, in an hour. So I can create assets, which is really, really important. Coupled with that, you know, I'm not massively wealthy, but if there's something I need and I don't have time to make it myself, then I don't mind going off and looking on the marketplace and, you know, basically buying it. Now, there are a lot of really, really useful things inside of the marketplace. So if I go over here to marketplace and we just have a look at, for example, what's just out today at the minute for free, look at all this free stuff that you could be using, and most of this is really good quality. I mean, the stylized modular character, not unless you're using stylized, but there's a lot of stuff here. Now if I go down here to free and the permanently free collection, you know, there's so much stuff in here. Like the stylized character kit's really, really useful if you can't create your own characters. You've got Power Arcade, Broadcast Studio, some really lovely stuff here. Look at this, a whole infantry vehicle and all kinds of lovely vegetations. Now if I change this to, let's say, 100 per page, like that, 100 per page, and let's have a look down here. So yeah, Medieval Dungeon, you see. Now you'll recognise some of the assets from Medieval Dungeon because I'm using them in my crypt, because why the hell not? If we've got access to it for free, use it, you know. Look down here, industry props. Now I'm not using these at the minute, but those wooden crates might come in useful to me. So what I can do is I can import that into a project that I have, okay, and then I can just migrate only the assets I want and put them inside my own project. Same goes for these treasures and things, or this open world foliage. So don't be afraid to have a look at this stuff, you know, and see what you think you can do with it, because there's so much stuff that you can do in here, so it really is worth checking out. God, look at that, human vocalization sounds, grunting and stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here, so seriously, go and have a look at it and see what you think. If you're looking for a way to set up a game really, really easily, and you don't have a lot of coding skill, and I know I don't have a lot of coding skill, you could do worse than look at something like, you know, the Horror Engine by Tansajin. The lady that develops this, she's very, very talented indeed, and you know, there's not bad support. They have a Discord channel. I'm not using it myself, but you know what, there's lots and lots of stuff in here, including ladder systems, event systems, all sorts of stuff. So it's very, very worth having a look at, I think, for you. Okay, so let me see. I've been waffling on at you now for about 20 minutes, haven't I? So what I'm going to do is, I'll see if anyone has any questions. I doubt it. Nope, can't see any questions, so it's probably just me talking to myself here. You see, this is your chance. This is where you could be going, you know, oh, I've got a video game that's being developed. Now, if you like H.P. Lovecraft stuff and you like horror, you know, this could be the time for you. This could be. Anyway, final thing that I wanted to talk about. I know I jumped from one thing to another really rapidly, but yes, this is technically a horror game / Lovecraftian game. Again, you know, you'll know I don't agree with the way that Lovecraft thought. He was very much a person of his time, but the actual genre itself I do enjoy. So with this being a horror game, I was actually looking at a review for a new title that came out. I think it had been in development for a bit longer than mine, and the new horror title that just came out, which I'll not mention, it got some pretty bad reviews, and one of the reasons it got bad reviews was because of the combat system. Now, here's something you need to ask yourself. If you're going to be facing a multi-dimensional evil entities, you know, from the other side of the universe that have been waiting for billions of years to destroy everybody, then you're not going to be able to take it down with a gun. You're not going to be able to take it down with anything, really. The whole point of Lovecraftian is basically that we're an aside. We're not important in the whole scheme of things, and that's what gives us this cosmic horror kind of vibe. Okay, we are small and insignificant compared to the big picture that's going on. So when we come across something that's kind of H.P. Lovecraft related, it's happening, and very little we can do is actually having any form of impingement upon that. What instead is happening is we're getting to observe it and try not to be killed by it, if you kind of understand what I mean. So having weapons is really going to do a whole bucket of absolutely nothing, you know, because, I mean, never mind, like, you know, oh, there's Cthulhu, let's shoot it with a gun. Let's look at the whole prospect of there's a deep one, let's shoot it with a gun. That wouldn't work either. You know, when it comes down to it in the whole mythos thing, you're dealing with races and races and races of evil, immortal creatures, some of which we can't even see because they don't exist in our dimension, who only haven't killed us because they don't think we're important enough to kill right now, but they'll get around to it later or not, you know? So that's why no combat. So when you play this game, or if you're interested in this game and want to know anything about it, that's one thing to remember, you know? It doesn't matter how many bad monsters there are, there's no point having a gun. You're going to die. The best thing you can do is go somewhere and hide under a table and hope you don't get stamped on. Right, so with that, it's been 25 minutes of the vlog. I hope that there's been something in there for you. Remember, next Saturday when I do this, it'd be lovely if you popped in to say hello. I have had some people in there saying hello, however, as I have no idea who they are because internet. It's like, you know, come and say hello next time, you bloody idiots. Anyway, I will love you and leave you. Take it easy, my loves, and I will see you next Saturday. If you're interested in the game development stuff, please feel free to drop in when I stream during the week. Until then, take it easy. Bye now.